right, folks. Welcome to Haunters Hangout. This is our season finale. What a better way to end the season with two of the best haunted houses in Michigan. And I'm excited. Been to both of them. Loved them both. Beautiful detail, everything, man. It was just amazing. Can't wait to go this year as well. And they're on the MHC tour as well. I wish I could just hop on the bus and drive on over there and then have them take me back to Columbus, but I can't do that. But we got a lot of prizes from our wonderful sponsors that gave away stuff all year long. And we'll let Pandora tell us what everybody's going to win today.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Hello. It is season 11, episode 9. It is our regular season finale tonight. We have prizes like you wouldn't believe for tonight. It's going to be amazing. We're so glad that you're here to join us. And remember, all you have to do to enter to win any of these prizes tonight is to simply engage, to be in the chat, to ask questions of our guests. That's all it takes. This is also your reminder for those of you that are watching on Facebook. If you would please go to streamyard.com/Facebook to give the streaming app permission for us to see your name. We would be very, very grateful for that. That helps us out so that it looks better than Facebook user and we can actually see who you are. Yes, exactly. Hello, Erica. Glad you could join us. Thanks for being here. So with that,
Drinking Words Pro.
Drinking Words Pro. All right. With that, I'm super excited about all our prizes tonight from Halloween Shirt Company. You ready, Phil?
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. Halloween Shirt Company, we have one free shirt. From Unsub Masks, we have one free mask.
Mm-hmm.
From Atmos Effects, we have a Hall of Haunts free download.
Mm-hmm.
From Ned's LEDs, we have the deluxe 12-volt sampler pack.
Mm-hmm.
Monsters Alive, $25 off. Rotten Prop Works, set of zombie arms. Every show. Dang it, Deoblo. Every time. From Toxic Effects tonight, we have two. Count them, two Rotten Pumpkins tonight. Rotten Pumpkin number 6 and Rotten Pumpkin number 7.
I just got 6 today. Yeah.
Yes. From Fright Night Studios, we have the Baby Mummy Oddities prop, which is so super cool. Super jazzed about that. From Cobwebs and Candlesticks, we have the 5-pack of magnets. It's the multi-magnet pack, guys, and they are so super cool. Nightmare Makers, one unfinished skull. From Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off. From 916 Productions, $25 off. From Froggy's Fog, we have a gallon of bog fog. From Horror Ornaments, one free ornament. From Fright Props, $50 off. From Scare It Badges, $50 worth of free badges. And Haunted Hills Productions, a free mask. And from Monster Misfits, a free bottle of Monster Blood. And last but certainly not least, tonight for our big giveaway from VFX Creates, a Minion effects system valued at over $350. So we are so unbelievably grateful for all our amazing sponsors for season 11. Thank you so much. And please make sure that you visit them first for all your haunt needs. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Phil to introduce our amazing guests tonight, Jim Werner and Ed Terebus.
Absolutely. Guys, it's our season finale. It's exciting, but it's also kind of sad at the same time because it's our season finale. But without further ado, we do have, thank you. We do have a great show tonight, and you guys, this is your chance to ask all your questions for anybody who's thinking of going from, say, a home haunt or a walkthrough haunt to even potentially pro. Pick their brains, any questions or concerns you might have with going pro, or even if you are a pro haunter and you want to ask a question to these guys, this is your time. So definitely get those questions in. We're going to try our best to have them answered throughout the whole show. But without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Jim. Jim, why don't you introduce yourself and your haunt?
So I'm Jim Werner. I am the operations manager at the Eloise Asylum, located in southeastern Michigan, right in Westland, right outside of the Detroit area. I have been an operations level haunter now for, I think, over a decade at this point, definitely in the management scope of things, but I've been involved in the haunt industry. Since I was a kid. I started off just trying to scare, parents, brothers, sisters, housemates, when I was just old enough to hide around a corner. And then from there, I turned into, didn't even know it was a thing back then, but I turned into a home haunter because I was the kid out there filling up my clothes with trash bags and newspaper to make bodies and light them up with all the different color floodlights I could find in our garage, which always made my dad pretty like, what are you doing? The kids being weird again. But
touched.
Yeah, there's something about Halloween, and there's just something so unique about that feeling that you get every fall. And it just grabbed onto me and became a huge part of who I am. As I grew up, I would find different ways to just be. I didn't even realize there was an industry, and I was already like doing industry stuff. I was pursuing, things like the haunt world forums and stuff when I was, back when it was in its infancy. And, from there, I'd find area haunts, little trails, or, the local farmer's market would have a pop-up haunt, and I'd go act and I'd go work. And everybody, I'm a big guy, so it was always like, oh, you want to be security? Nah, man, nah. I'm trying to have fun.
He's like, you went in the dirt.
Yeah, I went in the dirt. And, from that, the real world side of me, because I always compare the two, that like the haunt world is my dream. It's what I love. It's what I want to do. But then there's a real world you do to pay the bills. And I found myself growing in the emergency services community, all the way up to the point where I had a captain's position running an ambulance company. And I worked as an educator for emergency services education. I can teach like 50 different disciplines in that realm. And I was able to, I didn't realize how useful it was going to be, but I was able to parlay a lot of that information into, my own growth in the haunt community. I went from actor to actor trainer to actor leader to assistant manager to operations manager of two of the largest haunted attractions in the country. Pennhurst and Eloise are very large attractions, and they run a lot of people.
Yeah, Jim, if you don't mind my breaking in here, and yes, for our audience that were unaware, Jim is involved with both Eloise and with Pennhurst Asylum, and which are obviously both epic haunts in and of themselves. But we did want to focus on Eloise specifically tonight, especially being that MHC is coming up, and Eloise is a part of that pre-convention haunt tour. But we're super excited. He has kind of agreed that we may be able to get him back to talk about Pennhurst as well on a separate occasion. Sure. So we're super grateful for you, Jim. And the wealth of knowledge that this man has is incredible. So please continue. And I apologize for the interruption.
No, you don't need to apologize. Man, you sure twisted my arm to talk about haunts. Boy. No. So I do. It is a very unique situation because I live in Pennsylvania. So I find myself doing a lot of year-round operations like boots on the ground type stuff at Pennhurst, and then I travel back and forth to go out to Eloise, and I handle a lot of the off-season stuff digitally out there, all of the staffing and that sort of stuff. Because we do also run escape rooms, we run paranormal investigations because our site is haunted. That's the other cool thing about Eloise and Pennhurst. They're actually haunted places. So all those other things kind of add into it. But Eloise has been just mind blowing. It is, we're going into year 3. And I tell everybody, like, Eloise's first year, we came in like we'd already been open for 10 years. You know what I mean? It's normally the normal progression of a haunted attraction is you open and then you grow and you grow and you build, and you adapt and you kind of figure things out. at Eloise, we were just like, nah, forget all that. We're just going to open up and be like a big giant haunt, you know, and have everything. And we paid for that. We worked our butts off, man. We paid for it. It was a huge labor of love. It was a huge collaborative effort, and we survived our first year. And then with those lessons from that first year, with the collective knowledge that all of us had already brought to the table, we were able to build into a second year, which I have to be honest, from an operational point of view, it went just about perfect. Our second year.
That's
was
nice.
close
I mean,
to perfect.
with the haunt being like a haunted asylum already, did you have to do a lot of changes, or did you kind of like leave some of the stuff how it originally was, you know, as far as the haunted part, you know, and how
so you'd think we could just open the doors and shuttle people in, but
right.
that's not what makes a legendary haunt. You know, a legendary haunt kind of incorporates so many different facets of fear and scare and lighting and sound, and there's so much you put into it. At Eloise, we were absolutely so lucky to have the people that we had involved. Our build crew led by designer extraordinaire Dave Carey, who is also one of the owners. Dave is the type of guy who just thinks of the most amazing ideas for rooms, for throughput, for gags, for gimmicks, and he puts it together in such a way where he takes the space and says, I want to do this impossible thing. How can I make it work in this real space? And that's what we do, and then that's what we've been doing. But we actually got a review, which was the greatest review in the history of haunted houses, as far as I'm concerned. Where a very knowledgeable customer got a hold of us, and they said, it was good, it was okay, but I really expected you guys to put more effort into building the haunted house in the building. You just kind of used what was there. We're scratching our heads because we were part of this 8 months of scrapping in the building to gut everything out and rebuild 58 sets. So we're scratching our heads. So we actually reached out to him. We're like, hey, what? And he's like, well, you know, it was cool. It's an asylum, but it was an asylum and you just used what was there. And we're like, you should come back. Come on back. Come back for free. Come visit us again. And they did. And we took them through and they were like, oh, it's almost all fabricated. Now there are real construction elements that obviously you can't get rid of, walls and support structures and doors and windows and stuff. But what we did was we married into that. So every room design is anchored by the original paint scheme, by the original wear and tear that the asylum had, by the original kind of flow. So we were able to get very, very, very creative, but it's completely rooted in reality. So when you walk through, you could believe that 40 years ago, there was an actual doctor in this room working on somebody. When in reality, the space that you just walked through was a file room 40 years ago, or it was a bathroom, you know. But we were able to incorporate this incredible design with such an awesome team, and they pulled it off. They pulled it off beautifully. You know, it's all from lighting to distressing and everything. That was the mission, and it was mission accomplished. We're very, very proud of what we were able to put together.
That's so amazing, Jim. Right on. Yeah, I'd love to. We're going to come back to you. You would not believe the questions that are already accumulating for you guys. It's going to be tough to keep up with tonight, guys. So if I don't get to your questions, don't worry about it. We will ask our wonderful guests to go back and take a look at them in the chats afterwards too. We would like to give Ed a chance here to say hello and to introduce himself as well. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into all this and what's happening?
First.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself first.
Oh, Ed, you got to unmute yourself first, my friend.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. All right.
I need to apologize because where I'm at, I'm still on location. A hunter's life is never done.
That's true. That's right.
We're doing some demo work, and I just got carried away and didn't realize how late it was getting. And actually, I was inside the building, but I lost all signals. Had to come back out. I apologize for that. But, we got started. God, we're going on. This year will be our 44th season of doing haunted houses. We did it 20 years in trailer units. Our first haunted house was in 1981 in $1.50.
Damn.
Back then, I was actually making monsters in art class. My brother, he joined the JCs, and the JCs kind of lit his fire on haunted houses. And then about a year and a half later, he got laid off from Ford's and said, I'm going to build a haunted house. And he started building a building in the backyard. We got permission from Kmart's to set it up in front of the Kmart's in the parking lot. And that was our first haunted house. It was a prefab building built in my brother's backyard, charged $1.50. And I think we lost our tails. I think we ended up being like $500 in the hole. So the following year, we moved to trailers, mobile home trailers. It was 4 trailers, 12 feet wide, 55 feet long, and it ended up being like 2,800 square feet. And we went up to, I think, $3. The third year, we added a 5th trailer. We went up to 3,800 square feet. And so we've been, doing haunted houses. We ran that unit for 13 years. And then we donated that unit to a church for $1 that had a haunted house project. And we got bigger trailers. These were 14 feet wide by 70 foot long, and there was 10 of them. So it came out to like 9,800 square feet.
Nice.
We ran that for, I think, 7 years, but decided, man, this is a lot of work. You have to haul these trailers, store these trailers, special permits. They took up 2 lanes of traffic. We can only move them certain days. It ended up being a major hassle. We started looking for a building, and the building we looked at that we're in now, originally the owner wanted an astronomical number for it, way out of our budget. And we actually left, came back 4 years later, came to talk to him a little bit, see if we could renegotiate, and he ended up passing away. And we talked to his wife, and we worked the deal out, and we actually bought the building from her. Looking back, I don't know if I'd do it again. It's kind of like, Eloise, man. You got that place is stripped down, and you got anything in there working, you got to make it work. We had no plumbing, no electricity, no gas. We had nothing. In fact, we're still working on the building today. I mean, it just never stops. It's an endless process of either working on the haunt or working on the building. Tonight, we're grabbing some props for the haunt, grabbing some props for the escape rooms, and it's pretty interesting.
Absolutely, so good. Thank you so much, Ed. Awesome. Yeah, and the questions, boy, we're gonna keep you guys both busy tonight. There's no doubt about that.
I'm seeing these questions a lot. Wow.
Oh yeah. All right, well, let's get into some of these pictures here. So I'm going to bring it back to Jim. And Jim, what do we got here going on?
So this is actually our intake doctor's office. This is one of the earlier rooms. Once again, like most really good haunts, they set up their throughput to kind of feel like a little bit like a roller coaster. You have your ups and you have your downs. You have those moments where you allow the guests to catch their breath, and then you have the moments where you expect them to be screaming. And this is actually a very unique room because it's both. They walk in and it's a little more subdued, and then we hit them with multiple scares all at once. Definitely a lot of back and forth. But once again, you can see the attention to detail. Normally when you're opening a haunt, one of the hardest things in the world is getting the stuff to fill out the haunt. That takes years sometimes to hunt, to harvest. I'm sure I know for a fact, Ed knows all about harvest. He's doing it right now. It's the harvest. But with a lot of our mold build, we had mold makers, we had CNC operators, we had laser machine cutters, you name it, and we could fabricate it. And we were able to, between that and finding some wholesale, movie sets that were no longer being used and being sold at auction, we were able to build some pretty convincing stuff and complete scenes where there's no down point in this room. There's no, halfway, oh, well, if we had more time, we'd put this in. Like, the room's complete.
It's beautiful. Cobwebs would like to know, damn, arched windows, are those original?
Those are 100% fabricated by our fantastic build shop.
Awesome. Incredible. Incredible.
Now, Jim, when you guys start with a new year, is there sometimes you try to incorporate the previous scene to the new scene that would be maybe potentially after or before? Like, what is your game plan when you guys start coming into renovating and stuff like that?
So one thing that's kind of unique, and it's very, very unique to the fact that we're running in established kind of haunts. So like this is an asylum. It is an asylum. It wouldn't make sense for us to break character from it being an asylum. And because of that, instead of like large scale retheming, what we find is that we start evolving the rooms. So this room here, this is a picture from first year. This is not what this room looks like anymore. This room is a little more run down. It's a little more aged. There's more cobwebs. The table's a little cantered because clearly the doctor got in a fight with somebody. And that's one of our retheming tools, is the evolution of a room, where we allow the room to exist and grow. Now, of course, we do retheme different rooms because, you have to mix it up. But one of the things that really sells our attractions is this evolution, where it's just getting deeper and darker as the years go on.
I gotta say, I love that. That's really cool to have that evolution term. Like that's really cool.
Agree. Yeah, it's beautiful. Karen would like to know, do you have a dedicated photographer to take pictures of your haunt? Because these are beautiful.
So a lot of our photos are done by Rogues Hollow. They come out to take quite a few of our stuff. They've been for years partners with a lot of our marketing. But we also, we have very talented people that work for us. And when team members are like, hey, can I try this? Can I do this? We're always so supportive of it. So we have a lot of like really dynamic photography and video that exists now because we had very can-do oriented staff members who are like, hey, I'm a pretty good photographer. Can I try this? Sure. Let's see what you got. But we do a lot with Rogues Hollow.
Nice. Now,
Really cool.
You said something about, excuse me, actors, coming and trying ideas and stuff like that. As far as like growth within, say, your haunt, what do you recommend for like somebody who's starting out fresh at the haunt to be able to grow and, become higher?
So there is one tried and true way to grow. And I believe this is prevalent throughout most of life, not just haunted houses. You have to be present. If this is what you want to do, if this is who you want to be, I want to be a haunter, then you need to be a haunter. You need to be present. When they're asking for somebody to come out and sweep a floor, I'm still that guy. You know what I mean? There's never a task, a time that my passion doesn't drive me to want to be the one doing it. And I think that's the key ultimately for someone who's really serious. Like, I want to do this. I want to learn every facet of this industry. I want to get up there. I want to be an operator, an owner. Love the passion, but passion without action is just a dream. You know what I mean? So you got to be present. You have to push. You have to hustle. You got to be the one who shows up first and leaves last. If you really want to grow,
you're going to be the one noticed at the end of the day too.
Yep, absolutely.
And then in this picture here, what is this? One of the further scenes down in the haunt?
So this scene here is actually from our second attraction. So we have the Eloise Asylum, which is the entire 30,000 square feet of the first floor. And this is actually our basement attraction, where you go subterranean down the stairs. And you find yourselves in sub-level 1, the Nankin Project, which the name itself is pulled from the local area. It used to be called Nankin Township before it was Westland. So it's a whole thing. It's very sci-fi themed, with the idea being once again, we have this like nice 1940s, 1950s Asylum upstairs. So what else goes 1940s, 1950s? Well, the whole nuclear threat. So we went with this idea of, well, what would a bunch of scientists be studying to survive a nuclear holocaust? Well, what survives nuclear holocaust? Cockroaches. So we built this entire sci-fi genetics lab in our basement to study the effects of radiation on cockroaches and all sorts of, and obviously things went terribly wrong. So our basement is really a descent into how quickly we could morph into some really gnarly monsters down there. So
Nice.
Very fun though.
Amazing. What are we saying here?
I think I've seen her.
Yeah, Jennifer Luke would like to know, since you are limited with your theming based on the location, do you plan on branching out with other locations to bring your personal ideas to life?
I would love to. My time, I only have so many hours in the day though, and I spend a significant portion of those hours every day working on my current haunts. But the off season affords some great opportunities. We do themed off-season events, which allows us to kind of expand on different themes that we normally can't touch during the season. Over at Pennhurst, we do a horror camp out, which has nothing to do with Pennhurst at all. It's its own like horror thing. It's really kind of fun. And at Eloise, like we have an event coming up in June called Summer Slash, which is it's a deep dive into the culture of the horror movie, where the horror movies are coming to life within our attraction. So a lot of really dynamic retheming this year.
And Nate has determined that Jim is officially a motivational speaker. We have decided.
I know a couple people that would agree with that. Thank you.
Excellent. Jeff Foster would like to know, do you change your storyline every year, or does it just evolve with each year? Because you did talk about some of the rooms just sort of changing over time, that sort of thing with the theming.
So our storylines, we do have a very broad general storyline for each attraction. But the storyline is very much an evolution. As we change a room, the storyline changes. The doctor who used to be in there is not in there anymore. He's over in the surgical suite now. The monster that used to exist here has broken out, and now they're in this whole area. So it is an evolution. No matter, it's kind of like a really good TV show. It's kind of like The Office. It doesn't matter what episode you watch, it's going to be enjoyable. But if you watch the whole thing in series, you can see it's always leading somewhere. So for people jumping in that have never been to our attraction, they're not missing out because they didn't see the show last year. If anything, they just get to experience the next level of our show. Every year we kind of level up.
So great. Yeah. What we got going on here?
Well, this is looking into one of our operating rooms. And what you see there with that incredible window in the background, it's all facade. Everything from the lighting, the light, the paint, the patina, everything is just fabricated facade. We do a lot with forced perspective in our attraction. So that way always a goal of the haunter is to try to get the customer to look where you want them to look. What we do is we allow the customers to serpentine through different areas, and they're seeing other customers moving, but they're far enough away where it's kind of hard to tell that they're even customers. Like even from here in this view here, the customers looking at this vantage point would notice customers moving on the other side of the vantage point. And it creates a very dynamic environment where you're like, well, how do I get over there? I guess I go this way. And then it's a little confusion because you didn't end up over there. It takes much longer to get there than you expected. And it adds a lot of depth, like it's a lot of mystery. Well, how'd they end up there? How do I get there? So very, very cool layering effects.
Absolutely amazing. And I missed who actually said this, but they said for someone who works for Jim and his team, he is phenomenal and someone to look up to. So that's
anonymous
great.
Facebook user, thank you.
Yes. Indeed. And So we'll come back to you here, Jim.
Sure.
I would like to get to Ed a little bit here as well. What you got for Ed there, Philly Cheese? What you got for us?
Let's see. Let's go over this. And
All right.
You put me on the spot here.
I know. Sorry. Choo choo. There we go. Ed, talk to us. What are we seeing here?
You're looking at one of our casket displays, and that's a former actor. He's no longer with us, but he's an awesome guy. And he actually came up with a mask, and it was falling apart. And he actually cut the top of the head off, which was brain, and we actually glued it to his head. And that was his key player, being a zombie with his brains exposed.
Amazing.
You know what? In our haunt, we're constantly changing things, and it's a half-mile walk, so you can't change everything. You're evolving, like Jim said. You're changing things around a little bit. You might change a section, but not the whole thing. We actually took that section out. And we're actually redoing a casket section for this year. That picture there is several years old. And, things just constantly change and progress as you go along. That there is just a cool actor. We love her. She was actually the actor. It's kind of neat because you don't have to be loud and screaming to be creepy. She was quiet and creepy. Mm-hmm. She bounced around on the floor. She'd sneak up behind you. And it was just weird and it was bizarre. So you don't have to be super loud to be scary. And a lot of people think you got to scream at people to do that, and that's not the case at all.
I agree. And Katrina would like to know: do the customers have free range when going through the haunt, or is there a static path they stick to, or a hybrid of both?
It's kind of a hybrid. What we do is our story is Dr. Colbert built a time machine. In the process of building this time machine, as he put people, he was successful, but as he put the people into the time machine, the time period looked at them as a virus and wanted to wipe them out. Obsessed with making this thing work, he put more and more people into the machine. Eventually, he ran out of people and ran out of money. Then had a brilliant idea, disguise the time machine as a haunted house. Now he has an endless supply of human guinea pigs, but they also help finance the program. So now, with that time machine concept, we're able to actually take you to outer space, have aliens, ancient Egypt, clowns, anything we want to go. We can, apocalyptic something. We have a, butcher shop in the basement, and that going through a time portal allows you to do that. So we can take you from one section to another. Well, a lot of fun for us because, we can do whatever our minds create or whatever we come up with.
And how have you, Ed, how have you found it successful to tell that story?
Say that one more time.
How have you found it successful to tell that story to all the guests coming through? Is it, do they?
What? I think after we've been in Erebus now for, this will be 24 years. So the story has been progressing and it's changed. It's actually, I think at first nobody understood the story. And now it's actually coming out more in focus, and we're actually being more focused in telling the story. So
that's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that we all struggle with is, how do we ensure that the customers know what the story is, especially if we're sticking with a theme as we go through. And that's certainly, so that was a great question. Thank you for the cheese.
Right. I mean, I've been through Erebus. I had a great time, and it does tell a story, and it does kind of make sense. And like you said, I mean, every room you go into is like totally different and submerged in all kinds of different stuff, and it's like you're going down so deep. You're like, where the hell are we going? We're going down, then you're going up. It's just crazy. I loved it.
Yeah, and Ed, I mean, this Erebus itself is, how many stories is this?
Erebus is 4 stories, 3 above ground and 1 underground. So we take you up 3 stories, and then take you up 3, and then put you down 1.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
amazing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because like Some haunts like to play like a video before they walk in. Some like to put the backstory on a wall that's been painted, so it's like, wasn't sure how the success of yours is presented to your guests. That was kind of with the way I was getting at it.
Yeah.
So
what room is this?
Lose him?
Oh, did we lose him? We might have lost Ed for the moment. Oh,
There
there
he
he is.
Yeah,
There he is.
my son was trying to call me. I'm sure he's gonna do it again. That's her.
The son is insistent. Must speak with Ed. That's funny. I love it. Jim, we'll see how long it takes him to come on back here, and we might just take it back to Jim for a moment.
I like Mike's comment. He's saying Ed's jumping through time right now.
Yes, he's time traveling. I love it. There he is. Oh, you got to unmute yourself there, Ed. Ed, you're muted.
Muted.
Can you hear us? You got to unmute. There he
Like
is.
that.
All right.
I was pushing buttons trying to hang up on my son.
They're like, Ed's jumping through time.
Yeah. Who was it that said that? Ed, we want to make sure that you saw this. Mike Clark specifically said Ed is just jumping through time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, Karen would like to know, Ed, who are your haunt industry heroes and inspirations?
Oh man, I mean, heck, we've been a long time. When we started haunted houses, there was no organizations, there was no plans, there was no nothing. They had nothing in the code books back then. The way we started, it was whatever you wanted to do. So my inspirational heroes, I mean, heck, I've been, you got Joe Jensen, David Bertolino, you got Leonard Pickle. I mean, I remember reading a magazine, Entrepreneur magazine, back in the 80s, early 80s, and here's a guy designing haunted houses for a living, and that was Leonard Pickle. I go, man, I got to meet this guy, and to this day, Leonard's my friend. I mean, so it's kind of neat seeing these people, but unfortunately, I'm looking around and there's not too many of us left now. I personally just turned 60 2 weeks ago. And I'm looking around going, oh my God, I'm one of the old guys now.
There's my people.
Katrina would like to know, are the props in this pic real or fabricated?
This particular one, those props are real. That's actually the boiler room of Erebus.
That is so beautiful.
I was going to say that's like the realest boiler I've ever seen, because I used to work on it. I'm like, man, that thing looks real as hell.
Shane would like to know, since you're on, as long as you're on location, scavenging for the haunt now, do you guys rummage through scrapyards looking for things to place in your scenes? He asked as a result of all the pipes that we now know is real, but still, do you go to salvage
not so much
scrapyards,
but I mean, it's amazing how many people will call me up and go, hey, I got this, I got that. In fact, I'm supposed to call a guy from about 45 minutes away, has a bunch of funeral parlor stuff. Not that I need any more funeral parlor stuff. I think me and Jim own probably 70, 80 caskets already.
Wow.
But people just come up and, they just bring it to us. It's pretty incredible.
So, Ed, I want to touch on what you talked about earlier in the show. You mentioned if you could go back. Oh, did we lose you?
Yeah. Son must be called. Oh, there he is.
Say it again.
I was going to say, you were mentioning in the beginning of the show, if you could go back, you would change. There it is. You lost him again. Stop traveling through time.
I like what Corinne had to say, and this is for the birthday boy over there at work. We aren't old anymore. We are known as legacy.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah. All right. Now, what was the question that he was answering as his son was calling again? We assume.
if you could go back, what would you change? So back 24 years ago, what were those things that, like, when you're looking back at it now, you wouldn't have done or you would have done differently?
You know what? I don't know about, I don't know if I'd buy Erebus again. I mean, that was a lot of work. I mean, I sold my house. My brother remortgaged his. We borrowed money from everybody and anybody. I lived in the building from 98 till 2013. I still have a loft up there. In fact, we just hired a bunch of new people, and I got my new creative director is living upstairs with us now. So he's actually living in my old loft. But to change it, I don't know. It's been a fun run. I mean, I have, it's more of a job now. Before it was, we'd bust our ass for, 6, 8, 10 months out of the year and take 2 months off. I mean, it was kind of fun to be able to do that. Where a real job, you really can't do that. But don't get me wrong. Here I'm out here right now. We're still working. I got guys around me loading the trucks up, and right now getting this stuff. So when the time comes, we work, but we also play very hard too. And that, you know what? In the hunt, I was just talking to somebody. You go to a Halloween convention. I think I've been going there forever, and I don't think I've ever seen a fight. And it's the hunt people are very cool people, very creative people. I love them all. I mean, it's a very cool breed of people that do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's we all have competition local, as we see with Jim and Ed here now, but we're all friends at the end of it. We all have the same goal, and that's what it's about, is entertaining people and giving people a good show. We're all here for the same thing. So
yeah, agree.
And what do you got here, Ed?
Oh, that baby there, you know what? That's the baby T-Rex.
Nice.
Back in the day, when we first developed that was back in the early, I want to say that was in 82. We actually had 2x4s, like a scissor. So 1 2x4 surrounded by 2 2x4s. And we put shovel handles on the end of those, and we actually had 55-gallon drum lids on either end to form the mouth. And then we padded it all up so it wouldn't hurt anybody. And that thing got all tore up. And by the time it was done, we called it the duct tape monster. But we could literally grab you, pick you up off the floor, and drag you back into a cave. And that was like back in 92 or 82, 83. No haunted house was doing that. That was like over the top and crazy. Oh my God, something just bit me and pulled me into a cave, Right. But that thing has been with us since then and has been evolving and developing and changing. And I think, some of the vendors now are, I would say that's nobody made that back in 82. So it's kind of cool to see that it's evolved even further. And that's, I love it when somebody could take something, whether, it's our idea or not idea, but amplify it, change it, make it better. I mean, rather than just taking the idea, let's make it and create it and make it 10 times better. One of my guys go, look at this. And very similar to what we got going, but they amped it up by 3 levels, man. So I go, man, we got to jump that thing up a little bit. And that's the beautiful thing about competition. I mean, we're not afraid of competition. We do over here, we've been doing the Fear Finder newspaper since 1993. And, at one point in time, there was almost, I think our biggest thing was almost like 80 haunted houses in this 40-page paper. And we printed 600,000 copies and passed them out at 4,000 locations. So As far as competition goes, no, competition makes you better, makes you stronger. It's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with competition.
Agree. Bob Connors would like to know, what are moments that stand out to you being in the industry so long?
Change, development, going from a 1,200 square foot building to the trailer units, the bigger trailer units, to this building, Guinness Book of World Records we had in 2005. We held that for 4 seasons. I mean, is that the stories? I mean, I remember back in the day, I mean, fear so intense, some call it pain. And we actually had a t-shirt that said that. And we actually had somebody get hurt one time in a haunted house. I went, wait. Hold on. And I pulled out this t-shirt. It says, fear so intense, some call it pain. I go, you earned this. And these people went, really? And I took the t-shirt and I left. I went, oof, oh my God. But it's the things you can do, the things that, that stick out. I mean, we had one time, and again, back in the old days, you could get away with a lot more. So if I yelled, don't scare them, that meant get them good. And at one point in time, this woman passed out. She fell to the floor. She's a big woman, hit the deck. And then the closest door was 10 feet away. But what scared her was between here and there. So she didn't want to go that way. So we had to go that way, probably another 50 feet. And I yelled, don't scare her, which meant get them good. I wasn't thinking straight. And they jumped out and scared the hell out of this woman. She fell on the ground 3 more times in the haunted house. But then once we got her out of the haunted house, she'd walk 5 feet and pass out. Walk 5 feet and pass out. She jumped in her car and she's going to drive away. I reached in her car to grab her car keys. This woman grabs my arm like a chicken leg, takes a bite out of me. I'm screaming. She's screaming. Fire department held me longer than they held her. I mean, the stories, the relationships that you come from, the haunted house, it's pretty incredible. I mean, now it's not just, me and Jim doing it, but I got Jim, I got Zach and Brad, Jim's sons doing it. My kids are 10 and 12, but they want to come play. I got my wife coming. She works temporarily in there. I got my mother ran the front door of the haunted house for 20 years. She's the woman that took your money, man. And, the only reason she didn't do Pontiac was my dad wouldn't let her drive out that far. But it's been a family affair. We still got, I got my sisters involved. There's a whole bunch of us. And you know what? And the guys that work for us, we're all family. I mean, we just did Cinco de Mayo together. We ate tacos and drank margaritas and just had a good fun time.
Tater would like to know, because he's saying hello to the world famous Ed.
Hello, Tater.
Do you still have a case of found items in your gift shop? And what's the weirdest thing you found?
The weirdest thing I found, my 2 prized possessions. I have a size 11 tennis shoe, a Nike, but I got both of them. I got 2 of them. And they're probably, I bet you they're $150 pair of tennis shoes, but I'm going size 11. That's a 180-pound dude, a size 11 shoe. And he left with no shoes on and didn't come back to get them. I think that's pretty cool. The other thing we found when we were actually rebuilding, I found a pair of dentures. Somebody lost their teeth. I guess it's not dentures, but what do you call it when you're just, missing 3 or 4 teeth in the front, kind of all wired in? A retainer, not a retainer, but you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But those are the 2 weirdest things we found. But I'm telling you, man, we got wallets, paychecks, we got driver's license, credit cards. I got 3 showcases full of this stuff. Plus, I got boxes and boxes and boxes more. And everything you see is actually probably has to be at least 2 year's old. Last year's stuff I don't put in the showcase, just in case somebody comes and wants to claim it like that. But after 2 years, we put it in the showcase.
That's amazing.
That's
so
crazy.
Good. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ed. I'm going to take this moment here to kind of be our midway through the episode. So for those of you that are just joining, it is our season finale. And this is our pro show. So
drink.
Yes, drink.
Cheers.
Nobody said it.
Pro.
They've been saying it. They've been
Pro.
Damn it.
Yes.
But yeah, so you all are entered into the prizes that we have tonight from our amazing sponsors. All you have to do is ask a simple question to our 2 guest panels, Ed and Jim, and that automatically enters you in for a chance to win those said prizes. we have some big prizes to give away too tonight. So definitely enter in that giveaway. So without further ado, I'm going to bring it back to Jim here. And Jim, we are going to, let's see, I got to do this right. Hold on. Oh no, what am I doing?
There he is.
Let Jim answer that last question too. You know, what was the weirdest thing that you found in your?
Weirdest thing you found, Jim.
So we have found everything at some point or another, but the weirdest thing, the hands down weirdest thing, is we found these very artistically made, beautifully cut out paper dolls with pictures of actual people's faces on them that they left in the attraction. And after doing a little bit of research, it was so no spirits would attach themselves to the people. And that straight voodoo was the craziest, weirdest. That's definitely got to be probably the highest thing on my list.
That's some superstitious shit right there.
Right. We just left them in the haunt. We're like, hey, listen, welcome, you know.
So Jim, what scene is this? Because
So what you're seeing here is actually one of our most iconic scenes that we have in the far distance past the body in the gurney. And once again, the layering effect that we use, customers are going to go through that room at the end, but they're seeing it now. And it's that layered effect that allows, you know, to me, it really heightens the anxiety, because it's like, when do I get to that? But what you're looking at down this hallway is our surgical theater, which is one of our most ornate and well-detailed scenes. It's actually one of the first scenes that was finished during the initial build. So it's a very special place for us. Because it was first to get finished, it's also highlighted in almost all of our first-year marketing, because it was the first really cool thing that we finished start to finish. Our crew knocked this out. They distressed it, they aged it, they lit it, they fogged it, they sound, and boom, and you end up in this immersive environment where honestly customers will walk into that space, and I believe that they think there's danger, like real, like I could get thrown on that table and this dude could start cutting me up. Like, it's that level of realism. It's great.
Now I'm going to ask you the same question, Jim, that I asked Ed earlier. If you could go back to your beginning days, would you change anything? And if so, what would that be?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't be where I am in this moment, in this second. I would not be where I am if I changed anything. So I can't look at that. I can't look at what was back. I absolutely love where I've ended up, because I have family. I get to do haunting. I get to do some incredible stuff. And if I started shaking up that bottle, there's no guarantee that I'd be back where I am. So I'd much rather work for tomorrow than change yesterday.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, who wants to go back and work another 40 years?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a hell of a do-over. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Both Shane and Nate have asked questions with regard to the lighting. Do you use mainly white or amber lighting to give it that asylum look? And I believe that Shane also asked, do you use natural lighting or colored lighting?
So we use a massive variety of lighting. We use very dynamic, bright daylight lighting. And this is, once again, this hue and this intensity is very similar to a surgical light that you would have in an actual hospital. It's very vibrant, very bright, because that's what people expect. Like it's ingrained in their brains. So if we did some light trickery here and had like, oh, it flickers and it's a warm light, and I don't feel like people would insert themselves into the room as much. We use a combination of dynamic lighting. If daylight is called for, that's a big part. But one of the very special things we do in the asylum is a large portion of our attraction, outside of very specific highlights, spotlights, is lightning. we use lightning as a primary light source in our attraction, where the customer is walking, lightning's going off and they can see the space, and then it's dark until the thunder goes and the lightning hits, and then the thunder goes again. And that has been one of the most dynamic things that we've done with our lighting is simulating lightning, but not as a accent, as the actual light source for the scenes. So very cool. Ooh,
Amazing.
that's one of my pretty rooms.
You got excited about that.
This is one of those rooms that you don't expect to see in the basement of a building. What you're seeing here is our the control panels around our 8-foot Tesla coil, and if you look very closely between the large support structures, there is fencing there. And that is the first layer of a multi-level containment that allows us to put customers about 2 feet away from a live Tesla coil. And it's completely safe. It's been tested 1,000 times. It took us a lot of engineering, and it took us a whole lot of research. But we are able to have this incredible Tesla show that the customers are walking right by. It's something we're extremely proud of.
Excellent. Robert would like to know how many actors in this room.
There is one actor in this room, and he's hidden behind a control panel. It's extremely loud. So our customers get to venture through because they're in and out. But long-term, putting an actor in there, outside of on our busiest nights, we will put a pusher, and their job is to go from the door you see in the background across the 4 screen here, and kind of guide them out. But then they don't go back through the room. They just loop around. They just keep kind of making a loop.
Joe would like to know, what do you aim for with group size and spacing?
Well, it depends what day you come, Joe. So there are times where our spacing and our timing is wide open, small groups. As a fan of what we're doing, as a fan of haunted houses, I'd love to send everybody through in groups of 4 to 6 every, 2 minutes, and just let people just slow their way through. Unfortunately, we'd be there well into the next day if we did that. We do run larger numbers. On some evenings, we're running groups of 16 through every 30 seconds, every 35 seconds, somewhere around there. That's on our busiest nights, though. And that's just to kind of keep everything rolling. There have been some occasions where we've done the Hollywood Horror Nights March. We were able to do that very effectively on the very few occasions we've ever had to do it. It's been very successful, actually. No customer complaints because they get a lot out of it. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to do. And our actors are up for the challenge.
Now, Jim, when you were talking about sending groups of like 16 through and stuff like that, what successes have you found to prevent like bottlenecking or, keeping the groups going and stuff like that within the scene development?
Well, it's 2-part actually. The first thing to prevent your bottlenecking and your conga lines, and they will always exist because they will always exist.
Right.
But to prevent them, it's twofold. Number one, you need to build a haunted attraction that people can walk through. You need to make sure that in their line of sight, there is something to pull them towards it. So in this room here, you have this incredible set that you're walking past on your right, and there's all these control boxes on your left. But as you proceed forward, the next room has more light. So you're drawn to it and you move towards it. Those design features are crucial for throughput. But the most important thing for throughput is your actors. Your actor training your actors to never, ever block, to never, ever scare backwards. And if they do, teaching them techniques to speed the crowd back up. I tell my actors, you can take away 3 seconds from a customer, but you better give it back. You better get it back. You got to get them to move up again. And that's been very successful. Our actor leaders have actually been crucial to the process of conga line busting, because when we sense a conga line, they will go figure out why it's happening And no matter the cause, they will mitigate it. So we have that customer who's just bebopping through and just doesn't care about anybody behind them. They're moving at a snail's pace. No problem. Hey, I'm creepy actor.
That was me, wasn't it? Damn it.
What's that?
I said, that was me, wasn't it?
No. Yeah, you were hunting for those details. But here's the thing. You can engage that customer in character and you can move them and let everybody else go. And they'll enjoy it because they're getting their own little special thing happening, you know? And that's something that we've done. We call it line busting. So when we get a backup, we need to go bust that up. You go figure out what it is, and whatever the cause is, you make it sleep. Where we didn't realize it, but one of our prop shirts in the laundry shifted. So now all the customers are ducking under it or stopping to move past it because it's wet. Well, once we figure out what it is, we move it to the side so the customers can go through and we fix the problem.
Amazing. Art Lady Blunzer, Edie would like to know what's the size of the room that was showing on the screen, the Tesla coil.
The last one, the Tesla coil room, I believe is 22 feet by about 30 feet.
Okay. 22 by 30. Excellent. All right. What have we got here?
This room here is it's called extraction. And what it is the idea that our scientists have started combining genetic material with people, and we're starting to try to pull the characteristics out of these creatures that we want. These are really cool static props with a huge amount of detail. They're surrounded, you can't really see it in this view, but they're surrounded by control panels, control boxes. And one of the more interesting things that we did in this room is we went with a tile facade. So it's a wooden, it's wood that has been CNC'd into a tile pattern with a lot of depth. But what it allowed us to do was build a tile wall that's on the back side of the photo. So if you were walking past this, it's on your right, there's a tile wall on your left. And it's allowed us to build in facade features that are completely invisible. So you may get some very unique scares walking through this room coming from a direction that you would have thought would be completely impossible.
Amazing. Jamie,
I know you guys are jealous because I went through it.
If you have a limited budget for decor, how small or large would you suggest a room be?
Me personally, well, if the budget line on the room itself is lower, if it's a room that like, hey, we need to, you need to start off before you're thinking about even how to decorate. You got to think about, well, what's the purpose of this room? What story are we telling? What's the scare? So you don't need a massive budget to get the scare. You need creativity, you need distraction, you need a good actor. And those things can fall very much into a budget. But when you're building the room, you obviously want to make sure it makes sense. You want to make sure it's safe. You want to make sure that it's, if you're going for something incredibly theatric, then you are going to spend some money. Or you're going to spend time. That's the other kickoff. Some of this stuff is incredibly expensive to build, or you could do it yourself, and it's just going to take you longer. It's just going to take a long time to perfect it. Both are totally viable. So if you are on a budget, remember that the investment of time can make up for the shortfall of income.
That's good advice.
Great. Very good. Jim is absolutely a wealth of quotes. The good news for all of you out there watching is that you can rewatch this over and over and over again to get the good stuff. All right, we'll give you a minute there, Jim, and take it back to Ed for a few and see how he's doing over there. I want to thank all of our viewers for keeping up with the questions in the chat. It's just amazing questions coming in. Thank you so much for you guys. We will likely not get to all of these tonight, but it doesn't matter. You're already entered to win the prizes at the end of the show. Thank you. So thank you again to our sponsors for that. So, Ed, hi.
Hey.
Oh, what have we got here? What are we looking at?
That is actually our exit staircase. So the idea on that is all these TVs you're coming out of time travel, and each TV is playing something different and saying something different and telling you that your time has now changed. So now your time period is different. Your time results are different. And now you're entering into a new world that after you entered Erebus, you're now leaving something different.
Amazing.
Yeah, when you're coming up, that's a real nice scene.
Hey, Ed, with all your changing of scenes, why haven't you gotten rid of the box TV yet and gone to like the flat panels?
You know what? The funny thing is,
look for the times here, man.
because that's kind of like time sensitive there. But no, we're actually, I got new TVs to be put in there this year.
Yeah.
It kind of gives it like the old authentic look, I think.
Yeah, I kind of like the box. What do they call those tube TVs? I think. Yeah.
Those things are heavy.
CRTV. Yeah, they are heavy.
That's tube TV right there.
Tori would like to know, and we'll ask this question to Jim when we bring him back up again. But what's the cheapest thing you've used that's made the most impact?
The cheapest thing we used that made the most impact. That would actually be our attacking monkeys. That was a monkey on a stick that came from above and attacked you.
Nice.
I want to say we spent $9 on those monkeys, along with the steak and like that. So I would say that was very cheap, very effective, and people loved it.
So did you actually have somebody up above in the ceiling, sort of, so to speak, to
correct?
Drop
they
these
were
things
actually
down?
above their heads, so they were probably, where they were standing, they were probably 3 or 4 feet above their heads.
Okay, amazing.
And you had like a jungle scene. I mean, it doesn't take much, I mean, a lot of times we had a problem when we went to the show. All the cool props that everybody had, we couldn't buy that because we had so many competitors in this market. 25 guys would have those. So when we went to the show, a lot of times we bought the mask, we bought the arms, and we had to create something ourselves to be different and be unique. So, we're pretty thrifty. I mean, you can spend a lot of money. So you got either money or time. So if you have a lot of money, spend it. If you got a lot of time, you can build it. So, I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Excellent.
That's great advice. Right there.
And he said, "Oh, Karen, I remember buying those monkeys. LOL." All right. Katrina would like to know, with Erebus being 4 stories, what accommodations have you done ADA wise and accessibility wise for those with mobility issues?
Actually, our building is very unique because you can actually drive all the way up to the roof. So we have the abilities to actually bring people in, and we can skip any stairs and we can take you up ramps. So we have the ability to take wheelchairs through, and we've done many over the years.
Amazing. That's so great. I love that haunts are thinking about accessibility in different ways nowadays. It's wonderful. And is that a line of hearses I see right there?
That was a hearse club that showed up, just hearsing around. And,
just hearsing around.
Just hearsing around.
I love it. I love it.
Now,
and Ted says, you've had 44 seasons. Have you ever had burnout in that many seasons?
You know what?
Unless you're a superhero.
You get burned. You
Yeah.
can get burned out. Sometimes you get burned out. Sometimes it's the. It can be, yes. I would say yes. I went through a burnout spell, but you know what? The cool thing is, I have my brother as a partner. He carried me through. So
that's beautiful.
now
You gotta have a good team around you, support system. Yeah.
I mean, it's almost natural to burn out after so long and thinking about something. I mean, we eat, sleep, and drink haunted house. I mean, I'm doing it right now. Thinking haunted houses. In fact, in our escape rooms, I wanted some family-friendly ones, and we sat down. And every time we tried to plan one, I hate to tell you this, but we kept going to the dark side, man. We couldn't get out of that not scary mode,
Right.
and ended up had a buddy of mine, design them and, create a couple family friendly ones. So we have a fairy tale one and we have a kind of a Harry Potter looking one. And those are pretty cool.
Right. Had to bring outside help.
Yeah, just to think not scary. I mean, we think scary all the time, man. It's kind
of... Oh, his son's calling him again.
Son's calling him.
Yep.
Well, there's my son checking in on me. Probably saying good night.
We nailed it.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Don't you even apologize, Ed. We are so grateful that you're here. Scott would like to know what was the largest hurdle for you in going pro?
Well, we did the haunted houses for a hobby for 20 years, and those were the trailer units. The biggest hurdle going pro was taking on Erebus, taking that building on. I mean, we were with no electricity, no plumbing, no anything in there we put in there. But 20 years of playing around really prepared us for that. And like when we did it, we grew up.
That's what's up.
I feel like Ed should just.
There you go. We grew up with the codes. So as the codes grew, so did we, which was kind of cool because we never had to take on. Like I wouldn't even want to know what Eloise went through to bring everything up to code in that building. I'm like, oh my God, it gives me a heart attack just thinking about it,
Like, Dad.
Yep. Answer the phone so he wants you desperately to say goodnight.
It's not my son, it's my wife. Well, you know what? I'm truly loved. So hey, I can't complain about that.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Do you want to take a minute to get that so they don't worry about you and we'll come on back to you?
You know what?
Yeah. All right. That's right. Yes. All right. So we will take it over to you now, Jim. And as long as we're talking about it, and what did it take to bring Eloise up to code? I imagine that was a monstrosity.
So, as with every modern haunt, the codes are a big deal. Luckily, I'm a student of the rule book. I live a world of codes and standards and procedures and policies. Like I speak the language, I understand the language. And I think the big thing is when a lot of people look at the huge hurdle that is trying to be compliant, you know what I mean, with those things, they don't realize like they're not trying to keep you from opening. That's not their goal. Their goal is to keep you from hurting anybody. And that's why all that stuff exists. And when you look at it through that lens, it's a little less stressful because it's like, well, let's make it right. Eloise had no electricity. It had no water. It had no HVAC. It had nothing. It was an empty building with glass everywhere. We had to do a massive clean out. We had to do remediation. We had to do electrical infrastructure. We had to do water infrastructure. We had to do HVAC. All the plumbing. We didn't have bathrooms. We needed to put in the bathrooms, everything from the ground up. And now, mind you, this was all going on the exact same time that our attraction was being built. We did it all at once. We did the full site improvement and the full attraction build side by side. It would literally be, they would put in a pipe for oil or for the gas heat, and then we would put up a wall. Our team would put up a wall. It was just like that. It was a very stressful build, obviously, for those reasons. Our workers worked so hard, round the clock. And once again, we had some of the best workers. We certainly pulled from all the resources in Michigan. And post-COVID, I mean, that was huge. Like, it was a very difficult thing trying to find workers, let alone, workers that would consistently come back to a really haunted, empty building. So it was a lot. It was a huge undertaking, but we knocked it out of the park. We are ADA accessible. We have bathrooms. We have electric. We have heated areas. I might even put in a window unit air conditioner this year. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Just out of curiosity, how did you finance buying that building and doing everything from scratch? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
You don't have
I can once again, you guys. That question is a little bit higher than my tier, but we have an exceptional owners group at Eloise, and our owners group was it was a consulting company that came across the property, and they took the property on and said, let's try to revitalize the local economy. Let's try to work this into something. And of course, they were thinking of things like, oh, well, we'll build senior housing and all this other stuff. And then they found out that the building is not only synonymous with like ghosts and these, like, you know, people thinking it's haunted, but they found that people would come and check the place out, and people were breaking into the building just to look for spirits. So they said, okay, fine. Instead of breaking in, why don't you just come and explore the place and throw us a couple bucks? So that's kind of how they got the wheels moving. And as they did that, the idea of, well, what about a haunted attraction? And they started doing their research, and through that, they ended up getting to my boss, who's also owner of Pennhurst, Matt Herzog. So they reached out to him and said, hey, look, some people pointed us to you. We know you run a historic haunted asylum that used, well, Pennhurst was an institution, but still same problems, same history, same, a lot of similarities. Would you be interested in maybe working with us? And they formed together and they became Eloise Asylum LLC. And together as owners, they pooled their resources, and I'm sure they took some loans. And they made that $1 million dream that every haunter has. What would you do if I handed you several $1 million and said, build a haunted house? We all have talked about that. We've all sitting around and shared a beer and talked about, well, I would do this and I would do that. Well, our team did that. And that's how Eloise came to be. It was the hey, what do you do if you could do whatever you wanted? And that's what they did.
Yeah.
We were very lucky. I can't stress that enough. So lucky.
Right place, right time, right minds.
100%.
Yep. Amazing. Jim, thank you for that. And Ed has returned to us. He is back to the future. And sorry, Phil. There we go. Welcome back, Ed, Ted says.
Thank you.
All right. And let's see here. We were talking about.
I can't remember what we were talking about.
I can't either. I'm glad that's not just me. Okay.
Yeah, but so now, Ed, in this photo here, are you on like a main street? Like, how do you control crowds and all that stuff with everything going on? And
we're located in downtown Pontiac, and it's quieter. I mean, yes, there are cars driving by, but the city allows us to block off a couple of this, the lanes, so I don't have to worry about people doing crazy things when they're driving by, that kind of stuff. We try to keep everybody on the sidewalks, but we're right. Yeah, we have it's an 8-foot sidewalk on one side and a 12-foot sidewalk on the other side.
So you have two entrances basically in this regard?
We have one main entrance, and then we take the VIPs and the exit through the T-shirt counter.
Gotcha.
Right. And they have a whole parking structure right next to that.
Yeah, right across the street is a 3,000 car parking garage.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, because there was, and Carrie says just half that building size is a haunter's dream.
It's
and a
huge.
haunter's nightmare too.
Yeah, right. How many years did you live up there? You said from 88 to 2013?
From 98 to 2013.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I still spend many hours in there, I'll tell you that.
It is huge, man. It's a huge haunt. Love it.
Now, Ed, when you started out, did you only use like a half the building, or did you go balls to the wall and use 2 floors right off the bat? Like, start small, or did you go big or go home?
No, we went go big or go home. We allowed you to go. We wanted to consume the whole building, not the building itself, but the three levels up and one layer down. So we bring you in, take you to the second floor, take you up to the third floor. From the third floor, bring you back to the second, bring you back to the first, and then take you down into the basement. So we've always done that. We've expanded over the years, making it a little bigger, a little better, in these spaces. I got some great new people on staff, very excited. So we're making Erebus even better now.
Amazing. That's so great. New England Haunts podcast would like to know, what was the building used for before it became Erebus?
Before we bought it, it was vacant for 40 years, used as an indoor junkyard. But back in 1928, the first floor was retail. The second floor was a bowling alley, bar, and billiards. The third floor was offices. A cab company ran out of the basement. The parking lot was the roof. And it was actually made to go up 2 more stories, but the Depression hit and they knocked off the 2 stories. So it was actually supposed to be, 5 stories up and 1 story down.
Incredible.
That's creepy enough for me.
Yeah. What are we looking at here, Ed? Can you see that?
I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time seeing that.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone over here. Let me see here.
It's definitely the basement.
Is it the basement?
Oh, I think so.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
I'll
Craig
be honest,
would like to know.
I can't make that out on my phone.
That's all right. It's beautiful for us to look at regardless. And Craig would like to know, how do you plan a layout? Just trial and error, or do you use an actual architect?
In the past, it was trial and error. Now with technology, it's very easy to, using SketchUp, you can test something. In fact, we have a new thing coming up. We actually brought it into SketchUp. We were able to test ranges from left to right, height-wise, motion. It gave us the angles of what we needed to, how to cut it. So we did the proper angle, and the thing worked out to a T. No trial and error. Beautiful thing.
Excellent. Okay, tell us. I was really interested when I saw this photo. It has an old world vibe to it. Is this something that you pulled for storyline, or is this actual from back when of Pontiac?
That looks like old downtown Pontiac. Yeah.
Old downtown Pontiac. Okay. So is this maybe where the building was at some point?
I think that's Main Street. We're actually 1 block east of that.
Okay.
Man.
How many actors do you typically have, Ed?
We'll range anywhere, usually from 75 to 100 actors. In fact, if you look at the line, there are our best line so far is, you can see the entrance there, and then the line goes to the corner, wraps around the building, goes to the next corner, wrapped around that corner to the next corner, and then across the street, going to the next corner, and then around almost to the following corner after that. But that was a couple years ago, pre dynamic ticketing and time ticketing. Time ticketing and dynamic ticketing has been a lifesaver.
Do you want to touch on what the difference is between that? What do you mean by dynamic ticketing?
Dynamic ticketing means, I have $20 days and I have $35 days.
Gotcha.
You can, obviously your weekends before Halloween are your busiest weekends, and those are my front row seats. Those are the most popular, so we charge the most. But the same show, you can come on Monday night and get in for $20. So it kind of allows us to distribute our customers out a little bit. And then time ticketing, we actually have it so they can pick a time slot. And when that time slot's filled up, we actually close it down. So that actually, if somebody wants to come with time ticketing, they want to pick their time slot, they're allowed to do that. But if it's sold out, they got to pick another time, another day, another time slot.
Wow. All right, we're gonna play a quick game. You know that game? Where's Waldo? Where's Ed in this photo? We gotta find him.
I'm the guy running from one end to the other.
I was gonna say, I thought this was you on top of the roof right there between the looking down at all the people like, hey.
I average 25 to 35 pounds every year that I lose. It's incredible how many steps I do per day, and how many flights of stairs I have to run up and down.
Imagine. Elevators or no?
No elevator.
Oh boy. Scott would like to know, Ed, with 4 floors, how many control rooms do you have?
1, 2, 3, 5 of them.
5.
We have 5 sound booths, sound closets. And then we have one major room with, house, we have 40 something cameras that somebody can watch.
Amazing. Shane would like to know, do you ever get into costumes some nights just to have fun?
It's been a while. I used to, but man, I can't even walk through the haunted house without being called out. Pretty difficult, But you know what? I mean, I do on the off season, doing other things and other places. We'll dress up and have fun. It's always fun. In fact, we're planning on having a pirate party this July, so everybody's gonna dress up like pirates.
That's
That's fun. Excellent.
Now, Ed, in regards to budgeting, you don't have to answer if you can't, but where do you find the biggest success when you're budgeting? Is it marketing to bring people in? Is it your actors to give the people the entertainment that they want or are coming for? Where do you find your budgeting successes are?
You know what? We play with that budget all over the place. I mean, our marketing goes from one extreme to the other. We've been, we never had that $2 million budget to go build a haunted house,
Mm-hmm.
So our budget, our extreme thing where we are professional salvage guys. I mean, to be able to salvage something, to put a fire door in, as long as that tag's on that door, the fire marshal doesn't care where it came from, as long as it's a fire rated door. So like the Silver Dome by us went down, but they just redid all the executive suites. I think there's 97 of them. I bought each and every one of those doors that they just put in for $1 to $5 each. I got 97 doors. And then you think about that, you got 97 doors. The hinges are $40. The door closer is $85. The mortise lock's $165. And the door itself is $500. But I can't take the frame because the frame was cemented in. But I got a guy down the street from me that can make a frame for $80. So I would say my biggest successful in the budgeting is us being thrifty and we're salvage guys.
Yeah. I like that.
That was an excellent question, Phil. Just saying. And Nate agrees. He says, no choo-choo for you.
Thanks. Get ready, Jim. That one's coming to you later.
Ted would like to know, do you do anything like guest scare spots? They pay you X amount of dollars and you put them in a boo hole to get scares for the night.
I have not, but I've brought people in. In fact, last we had some major fans come up, and it was a father and a son, and we actually allowed them to be guest actors for the day. Come on in, experience that. And, they had a blast. They did a great job. I've never taken a spot and said, hey, pay me and come on and do that. It's a good idea. We might want to think about that idea.
Yeah. Anthony would like to know, do you find it difficult to create fresh themes, ideas, scares, etc.?
You know what? With a good creative team, we always come up with something. I'll be honest, sometimes we build something and it just doesn't work. It's like, damn, the concept was good, the thought was great, but We ripped that one out. We put in something else. But there's enough good things in there that, that people like and people want to see. And, if you have a dud, you can it just happens every now and then. I have a great scene I built last year. You ever were sitting in a car and the car next to you rolls forward a little bit and it feels like you're going backwards? You're slamming on the brake going, what the hell's going on? So with that concept, I built a room, and the room works awesome, except if the actor's not working it, because I need that peripheral vision. You got to look at that actor, and that actor has to work the room. And then when that whole room moves on you, it was like, it's almost like you got power, man. It's psychic power where you actually move the people in your brain. It's almost like the vortex. Your brain says that the room can't move, and that's why you're throwing off, your kilter. So if the room's not moving, the people are moving. So by me moving that whole room, it feels like the people are moving. So, but the actor has to work it well.
Was that this year? You just put that in this last year?
I put that in last year, correct?
Yep. That's when I remember that room. That was freaky as shit.
But the actor has to demand your attention, and the room has to be your peripheral vision. And that's the most effective. In fact, my son goes, Dad, stop doing it. Stop doing it. You make me seasick.
And so, Ed, I know the next two pictures, I should say videos, I have coming up next. So I'm going to quickly take the screen over here and show some of the trailers you guys have come up with. So that video there, what was that for in your attraction?
You say, what was that for?
Yeah, was that for one of the escape rooms, or was that for the actual haunt?
No, that was the haunted house.
No, it's the haunt. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And I think I got one more here. So I think
You're done. I told you there's no such thing as time travel. I'm cutting your funding.
Doors being slammed in my face never bothered me. It's the ones I've opened that keep me awake at night. Because I've succeeded. My time travel lab, disguised as a haunted house. And I need more test subjects to finalize my work. Bring in the crowds. The portals are open. Subjects are being treated like a virus and being destroyed. I need more subjects. More. Erebus, it's about time. Travel. My tickets at haunted.
that's awesome. Actually, now I see what you mean about the portals. That's awesome. I love how that was captured in the video. That's so cool.
So yeah, that's us trying to explain our story a little bit better, So that was our commercial, and trying to incorporate the story behind the commercial.
Very
Super cool. Thank you so much, Ed. This is just amazing. It really is.
Sorry for all the interruptions and have my kids and my wife call, and sorry for being on location and lack of proper internet.
Like you
here.
said, you're a loved man.
Yeah, it matters not. We're just happy to have had you here. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, and hopefully we'll see you guys in June.
I hope so.
Oh, you will.
Hey, sounds good.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Happy salvaging.
Thank you. See you later.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Jim. Come back to you now.
You get to take it on home, my brother.
All right, let's do it.
So, what scene is this from?
So I can't place the scene specifically because we closed up on one of the characters, but it does look. I'm guessing that's up in the asylum, to be honest, just by the arch in the doorway. It's just very hard to tell. Once again, the asylum is inhabited. Yeah, you see the arch and the brickwork. It makes me think it's definitely up in the asylum. Once again, your asylum is fueled by the characters that reside within it. We built these amazing sets, and it's well lit, and there's great fog, great sound. But the characters that have been developed to work in those scenes are the ones who carry the story. They're the ones who keep the customers moving through. They're the ones who really are the nightmare fuel behind all the scares. And this is just a great example. We'll use a lot of makeup design. We'll use a lot of prosthetic design. We'll use a lot of mask design. And what that allows us to do is to be putting out actors who are very comfortable. Some actors can rock a silicone mask for 10 hours. Some actors can rock a silicone mask for like 4 seconds. So, finding the correct thing to the correct medium for the actor is crucially important.
Oops, sorry. Oh, there's another promo shot. That's awesome.
Yep. That is one of our nurses, and that is Nurse Genocide. She has coined herself as Genocide, and the area that she's in is adjacent to our hydrotherapy area. So it's a very dynamic area. It's got lots of features like obviously the dynamic lighting, but also water features. And a lot of transition between now it's kind of little spurts of water, and now there's air cannons blowing, and then there's bright flashing light, and a lot of dynamic changes when we venture through those type of scenes.
Incredible.
And that is actually one of our icon characters there. This is coincidentally the first picture that we talked about with that doctor's office. This is the doorway getting out of that doctor's office. And this is Nurse Poppy, who is one of our, she developed, once again, our makeup and FX crew, the coordinators in there, the leadership in there. We give them a massive amount of free range to develop characters. We want our FX director, our makeup director, our costume director to work collaboratively. And when they strike onto a character like Poppy, this isn't how Poppy started. Poppy started as a nurse wearing traditional. If you look at our trailer, Poppy's in our trailer as a 1940s nurse. She actually looks pretty normal. And this is, once again, when we talk about the evolution and how we focus on evolving characters and evolving rooms and evolving scares, this is a prime example of that, because where Nurse Poppy started is definitely not where she is now. And you can see the layers that we've added.
And Jim, when you were talking about the evolution of a character, how critical is that in the beginning stages of developing a scene? Like, I know you say it's evolving always, just like the scene is, but are you really trying to have that character be the centerpiece, or sometimes it's not always the centerpiece? They're in the background and they'll just add to the story sometimes. So
for us, what we're trying to do every time that we go back to the well to build out something is what exists in an asylum? What exists in our military lab downstairs? What can exist? Does it make sense? Well, this is a doctor's office. So let's start building a doctor. What do we imagine a nightmare doctor's office would look like? And that's what we build to. And then what we do is we start introducing the space to different actors. And then through, we have a very, very in-depth actor training program. And we bring actors, multiple actors, into the scene, and we ask them to show us who they think lives in this scene, who dwells here in your view. You look around, you see what's happening. Now you, the actor, show me the creature, the person, the thing that exists here. And in doing that, we have struck gold so many times because we get characters that we didn't expect. We might have an idea, but by allowing a natural progression of multiple actors to have a shot at different spaces and to show us what they got, we get surprised often, and we end up with these characters that fit the room much better than us just throwing an actor in there and being like, hey, you're a doctor, so say this. We're very free flowing. We're very organic. And it works. It works 99% of the time.
Aaron would like to know, do their character stories sometimes inform the general storyline or vice versa? Great question, Aaron.
Gotcha. So one of our things that we've really focused on in the Asylum is that the Asylum storyline is at a base. It's an asylum. That's it. That's the storyline. It's the Eloise Asylum. It's got some history. It's big and it's imposing. And something's clearly gone wrong here, obviously. But the overarching story is one of increasingly aggressive experiences. That's kind of our overarching story. As things get worse, the further you go in. It almost starts off kind of sort of normal. And then things go real bad, real fast, and they just keep escalating worse and worse and worse and worse. Our actors are helping us ramp up that experience. So that's really more. Now, do we have our classic theatrical actors? Of course we do. Every haunt has theatrical actors, and they drive a scene in a different way. To give you an idea, our surgical suite is a fantastic place for a theatrical actor because they can tell a very complete story in a very complete facaded room.
This cracked me up. Nate said, now how can I take that advice and use it in my home hunt relying on my drunk neighbors as actors? That's why we ask the pros.
Yeah. Okay. So,
yep.
To be honest, first off, and I know I might get a little flack for this, but you shouldn't be haunting drunk. I'm sorry. You get drunk afterwards, guys. You shouldn't be haunted drunk. That's an after thing. But here's the thing. People enjoy Halloween. So you've already got that in your pocket. No matter the scale or scope of your project and of your home massive Universal Studios level, people want to have fun for Halloween, and they want to get spooked. They want to be scared. They want to be like, oh, wow, that was cool. So come up with that cool effect. Have that actor and then empower them and be like, look, man, you're really good at this. Keep it up. Great job. High five. Let me work on a better costume for you. Or, hey, I noticed, you're in this small little room in the garage and it's not working. Like, nobody's scared. So let's put up another wall. Let's turn down the lights and let's give you a feather duster. And then suddenly, for 99 cents and a little bit of time, you're now scaring your neighbors with your drunk neighbor instead of your drunk neighbor not scaring your neighbors. So that's how I would do it.
Awesome.
Do you find like a lot of your actors, like the ones that come back every year and the ones that that are doing really good, do they come back with new costumes and we're like, I want to bring this costume to it, and do you run into that a lot?
So of course, because there's passion. And that's what you want. You want your actors to be passionate. But when we're running a pro haunt.
Nice. Thank you.
Sorry. When we're running a haunt where our objective is not just passion. And that's by that, I mean, we're running a haunt that we need to make money. That means we need to have quality control. We have to have quality control. If you just throw out everybody in their own costumes and their own makeup with their own gimmicks, you end up with a very non-cohesive story, and it's confusing, and it can take away from the show. When your objective is to be financially successful with your haunt, to bring in revenue, it needs to be like a real production, like a movie. Your costumes need to be of the same caliber and quality. Your makeup has to be of the same caliber and quality, and it has to be of a good quality, at least of a good quality. And then your actors need to be trained, not just in how to scare people, but in all facets of working in a job, because that's kind of what it is. They may have a blast, they may have a wonderful time, but at the end of the day, they're showing up at a certain time, they're performing tasks, and then they're leaving at a certain time. So they have to be trained beyond just jump out and scream at these customers every 35 seconds for the next 4 hours. Mm-hmm. You have to train them in safety. You have to train them in how to protect themselves. You have to train them in how to advocate for themselves. Hey, I'm working this scene and I'm hitting this button and my wrist hurts. Well, you should probably tell somebody about that instead of just toughing through it, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think the training's huge for that.
You probably saw this one pop up. Katrina wanted to know, do you reward your actors that perform above and beyond, or give them awards such as Scarrett badges or some other way?
Absolutely. And that is always an evolution. We number one, we pay our actors well. That is a thing that we do. We pay our actors pretty darn good. We offer them incentives. We offer them abilities to get cheap merch. We offer them free food every night, and that's with pay. Like, you know, we pay them, but we also feed them and we treat them to things. We do every Thursday night during our entire haunt season is basically a team night. We'll watch movies. We had a hootenanny chili cook-off for our staff, which was like just the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was literally my lead actors put it together. I just kind of let them go, and all these actors showed up wearing cowboy hats and cowboy costumes, and they all brought their own types of chili. And I'm like, what is happening? But they loved it. And
heaven.
That didn't cost us anything. That cost us was time and allowing them to run with the ball, to do something fun. And then of course, end of the season, you know, we give away all kinds of, we do raffle tickets all year. Hey, good job. Here's a raffle ticket. At the end of the year, they throw that raffle ticket in a bucket, and they can win TVs, and they can win all kinds of different crazy stuff. So, and that's once again on top of getting paid.
Yeah. Christopher Presley says a happy staff is productive staff. Couldn't agree 100%. More, Christopher. Yep.
100%.
Now, I have one question though, Jim. How long has the haunt been open for?
So we opened in 2021.
Wow. Okay. And how many actors do you have?
I have around 120 actors.
Okay. Incredible. And where, I'm glad this is all working in my way right now, but how have you been so successful with, or where have you been, either one, how and where have you been so successful in finding actors with being such a new haunt?
So we pay a lot.
Okay.
That's first. We are a higher paying haunt. But we are extremely inclusive. A lot of haunts fall into this trap where they feel that, oh man, this person just doesn't get it. And me being way up here on the scale of things, I get to set the tone and I get to set the standard that's not a thing. I don't believe that a person is not successful just because the first time I ask them to do something, they're not successful. Oh, wow. Some of the best actors we have now came in, bombed their interviews, and were like, I'll just go be event staff. And I'm like, yeah, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try this. Turns out that they're an incredible puppeteer. They can't act. They don't want to act, but they can puppeteer. And that's huge. So it's about being honest, forthcoming with people, and being like, look, if you are willing to come here and you're willing to put in the work, we will make it work with you. We will find a way for you to be part of this big cool team that we've put together. It also helps that we're in a 5-story haunted building that's like 100 years old. That helps draw people in. And culture, like we try so hard to build a culture where nobody's afraid to come to work. Nobody who works for Eloise is waking up Saturday morning like, oh man, I don't want to go haunt, and we strive for that. Like that is mission one. Right after keep them safe is keep them happy.
Yeah, the Halloween boss would like to know, what percentage of new actors would you say last until the end of the season? I think I know the answer to this.
So new actors, so like people I hired this year, I'd say I'd keep 50% of all new hires.
That's pretty great.
50% are guaranteed to make it through the season. Some of them, you're going to have your washouts because of life. You're going to have ones who are like, wow, my work, I didn't realize how hard this was. And I can't handle working on Monday if I haunt Sunday. Hey, no problem. Take Sunday off. I'll see you Saturday. Once again, if we find ourselves working with our actors are going to work better for us and they're going to have more fun. And that's how I keep actors. That's how we keep them involved.
Yeah.
Ashton Manor says, I want to work for Jim.
All right. Hiring starts in July, I think. We're supposed to July. So
and Ted added to that. He goes, no shit, packing the bag as we speak.
I believe Carlene asked if you're willing to share, you don't have to, what is the average wage for the actors?
Right now I'm paying actors $15 an hour.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Well, not me. The company is.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money, but I advocated for it.
I would assume that's pretty good money for an actor.
Well, and honestly, it's amazing because we have our core. All haunts have their core. You have your core group of workers that'll show up for everything all the time. And I got to be honest, I would believe that our core actors at this point would just show up. Like they really don't care about the money at this point. They are interested in the culture. It's a place where they belong. It's a place where they feel heard and seen. And it's a place where they can grow. And they love Halloween. And it's a way to express Halloween in such a way that where else do you get to do that?
Yep. Bless the core, Joe says. Bless the core.
All right. I'm going to share a video here. You're welcome to commentate, you public speaker over there. So good. All right. So we'll get into this video here.
This is Did we lose sound?
Oh, did you guys hear it before? Oh, geez, sorry.
Here it is.
Yep.
That's Nurse Poppy. That's our operating suite. Customers walk through this room. That's me.
I was going to say, I think I recognize that beard.
That was me. Yeah.
And for everyone watching, and this is just absolutely incredible. Do not forget that if you're going to Midwest Haunters Convention, that Eloise is on the pre-convention haunt tour. You definitely want to see this.
Yeah, we can't be more excited for Midwest. It's such an honor to be included. I mean, because we are such a young haunt. And wow, to be lumped in with Hush and Erebus on a haunt tour for Midwest. I mean, that's such an honor. And we're the middle show, so we've really got to have our A game going, because you started Hush, you come to us, and then you ended Erebus. So if we want to make our mark, we're going to hit it hard.
Love it.
Awesome.
Amazing.
I got another video here to show some of your work.
That's poppy now.
Mhm.
Love it, love it. I gotta say,
Incredible.
shout out to you and your team, man. That's awesome. That is really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
So
Glad you
Amazing.
liked it.
Well, putting an asylum haunt in an asylum does not suck.
Amazingly enough, it kind of works.
Shane, freaking insane. Love it.
I also have to say, for 2 years, I am definitely not going to be opening a pro. Everybody drink one more time.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
not going
All right.
to be opening a pro haunt anytime soon if that's what my competition's got after 2 years.
You know what? Everybody has to start somewhere. And Eloise was its own thing. You know, it is what it is. But I mean, I can't think of how many haunts that I've been to over the years that started small and they worked their way up. And that's the truth. Like, it's, if you invest the time, you can offset. Like, Eloise dumped millions of dollars of time. That's what that money saved. It saved time. It didn't, it's not anything that anyone else can accomplish. It's money or time. Pick one,
Yep.
Indeed.
Jim,
Agreed.
For sure.
thank you so much, man.
It's been an honor. Thank you guys.
Thank
Can't
you
wait
for
to
being
see
with
you.
us.
So can't wait to see you in June. And yeah, go ahead, Pandora. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, it's so amazing to have you here. We look forward to having you back to talk about Pennhurst as
For
well.
sure.
Just super excited. And yes, please make sure you guys get on that pre-convention haunt tour for Midwest Haunters.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Get
the
on
opportunity.
that. Midwest is shaping up to be a hell of a show, man. So definitely, if you've been on the fence, this is the year to go for sure.
Indeed. Thank you for being with us tonight, Jim. We are so very grateful. And I can't believe that this is our regular season finale tonight. Crazy that this has gone pretty quick this year for sure.
I know it flew by, man.
Yeah, it really did.
A lot of good information, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yep. So while this is the finale of our regular season, we are not completely done, because 2 weeks from tonight, we also do have the Midwest Haunters Convention promo show, where we are going to have both Chris Zarobsky and Nicole Ginsburg and Jen Thaler and the whole crew coming on to talk all things MHC 2 weeks from tonight, the MHC promo show. So you'll get one more show out of us for the season prior to Midwest Haunters.
One more choo-choo for the year. One
more choo-choo. Yeah.
And then we got to get our own haunt shit out.
Yeah.
That's right. That is time to get building for sure.
Yeah.
So Jim, you're a rock star. Thanks, Ed.
Hey, thank you guys.
We appreciate you too, Ed. Thank you so much for coming on. And
Real quick,
yeah.
before we get to prizes, I want to just thank my co-hosts. Couldn't have done this season without you guys. Really appreciate you guys. Deoblo, Pandora, thank you.
Brother and sister. Love you guys.
Boom. And it's been fun. Season 11, basically in the books. It's crazy.
Books.
Yeah. But we got some amazing prizes to give away, so we're not done yet. But let's get to those.
All right. Prizes it is. And hey, thanks, Haunt family. I love you guys. You're amazing. Yep. All right. Here we go. Prizes from Halloween Shirt Company. One free shirt. Ted Dennison. Congratulations.
Go ahead, Tim.
Unsub masks. One free mask to Claudia Rector. Congratulations, Claudia. From Atmos Effects, the Hall of Haunts free download to Michaela Nastasia. Congrats, Michaela. Ned's LEDs Deluxe 12-volt sampler pack. Monty Hutchins. Congratulations, Monty. From Monsters Alive, the $25 off. Karen L. Murphy. Congratulations, Karen. From Rotten Prop Works, set of zombie arms, Carrie Millington. Congratulations, Carrie. From Toxic Effects, Rotten Pumpkin number 6 goes to Brad Vandeweghe. Rotten Pumpkin number 7 goes to Jennifer Luke.
Jennifer
Woohoo!
Luke?
Congratulations, Jennifer. From Fright Night Studios, the Baby Mummy Oddities prop goes to SM Mills 17. That was a YouTube, I believe. SM Mills 17. Congratulations.
Margaret, I said Miles. Miles, not Mills.
From Cobwebs and Candlesticks, the 5-pack of magnets goes to Corinne Sanger. Congratulations, Corinne. Woo-hoo. Nightmare Makers, one unfinished skull goes to Chrissy SZY. Chrissy SZY. That was from YouTube. Congratulations, Chrissy. Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off goes to Michelle Schulte. Congratulations, Michelle. Hot sister. From 916 Productions, $25 off goes to Danny Patrick. Congratulations, Danny. Froggy's Fog, the Gallon of Bog Fog goes to Jeff Foster. Congratulations, Jeff. Horror Ornaments, one free ornament goes to Shanna Sears Bowyer. Congratulations, Shanna. From Fright Props, $50 off goes to Tia Bidwell. Congratulations, Tia.
I need that 50. Yeah.
From Scarlet Badges, $50 worth of free badges goes to Jamie Lane. Congratulations, Jamie. And Haunted Hills Productions, the free mask, the Necro Nurse mask, goes to Craig H. over off YouTube. Craig H. Monster Misfits, free bottle of Monster Blood goes to Shane Hemstadler. Congratulations, Shane. And from VFX Creates, the Minion Effects system valued at $350 goes to Grant Alexander Davidson. Congratulations, Grant. Congratulations to all our winners tonight. We are so very, very glad to have you here. Thank you for watching. And to claim your prize, please contact me on Facebook Messenger no later than Sunday night. And I will get back to y'all on Monday, no later than Monday. Please send your address, your email address, and your phone number. If you've won a physical prize, if you've won a t-shirt, please include your t-shirt size that you'd like. Again, please reach out to me on Facebook Messenger no later than Sunday night to claim your prize. I will get back to y'all no later than Monday evening. Congratulations, winners. Woo. And thank you so much to our sponsors. Season 11 sponsors, you are amazing. Please make sure you visit them first. For all your haunt needs. Yes.
And one more thing I wanted to say too is thank you to all of you who watched every week. We really appreciate you. Thank you to all our guests this season. Season 11 is now officially in the books. It's crazy to say that. And my last trivia question is, how many different backgrounds did Ed have tonight? It can win you in for another prize. But and yeah, so it's been fun. It's been a ride. Wow.
Thank you so much, Haunt family. Thank you. Y'all are amazing. Season 11 in the books. We will see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
For our MHC promo show. Thank you again, Jim. You're amazing. Thank you, members. We'll catch you on the flip 2 weeks from tonight.
Good night, everybody.